Good day, boys and girls. This is the revision for term 2 for the second part of your test. So we're going to discuss the answers. If you look at 1.1, you need to determine your decimal numbers, which are larger and smaller. If you look at 0,5 and 0,12, you need to write them with the same number of spaces after your decimal comma. So 0,5, there's one space here. Here we have 2 decimal points, 12. So if you look at this, A can be written as 0,50 and 0,12. So you compare your numbers. 50 is greater than 12. So we use the greater than sign. B, we have 2 decimal places here, 0,03. Here we have a 0.7. So 3 is less than 7. So we have the less than sign. This is -6, negative 0,6 and negative 0,14. Written to 2 decimal places, we have negative 0,60 and negative 0,14. Now 60, negative 60 is less than negative 14. Remember, 60 may be greater than 14, but with negative signs, the 60 now becomes less than 14. So the larger your number, which is negative, it will be less than the smaller number. And D, 0,2 and 0,14, both negatives. So to 2 decimal places, we're looking at negative 20 is less than negative 14. 1.2, we need to round off correct to 1 decimal place. So 1 decimal place means 17,5. So I have rung 7. And the reason for ringing 7 is this is going to be used to determine whether it will remain as 5 or should we round it off to the next number. So if this digit here is 5 or more, then we round the single digit, the 1 decimal point, to the next number. In this case, it becomes 6 because 7 is larger. It's 5 and larger. So 0,5 or 17,5 becomes 17,6. 2 decimal places, I've underlined 2 decimal places, 81,47. Now this 1 means that 47 will remain as 47. If this was a 5 or larger, then it would have been 48. So less than 5 means we do not change your decimal values here. This is correct to 0 decimal places. So we stop at 7, no values after the comma. And the 8 here means that 7 now becomes 8, simply because 8 is larger than 5. So it affects your value before the change. So 7 becomes 8. Calculating, here you can align 25,68 and next row 13,03 and calculate mentally, or you can simply use your calculator. Same here, you can multiply. Because of time constraints, you can use your calculator to multiply 3,075 times 0,4. The next one is division. So you divide 6,036 divided by 1,4 gives you 4,31. Now you need to cube. You can use your calculator to cube, or you can work out this. 3 cubed is 3 times 3 times 3, which is 27. And the number of decimal places will be the number of decimal places here times your exponent. So 1 times 3 is 3. So for 3 decimal places, we need to add a 0. So we have 027. So 3 cubed is 27, but it's 027 because it's 3 decimal places. So your number of decimal places is 1 decimal place times 3, your exponent. Here, the number of decimal places is 2 times exponent 2, which is 4. So I need 4 decimal places here. Now we know 5 squared is 25. It's 5 times 5, which is 25. So because we need 4 decimal places, we need to place in 2 zeros in front of this 25. And square root of 16 0, 16. Square root of 16 is 4. And here we use 1 decimal place. It's half the number of decimal places here. We have 2, so we half. When we square, we multiply by 2. Here we divide by 2. So we have 2 decimal places here. Multiply by 2 means 4 decimal places. We have 2 decimal places here. Now you divide by 2 because this is square root. That's 1 decimal place as your answer. Remember, you can check your answers with your calculator. Now simplifying algebraic expressions. If you're looking at this, 4 times 2, you multiply your numerical values. 4 times 2 is 8. Now, we're looking at your like terms, b and b. We add 2 plus 4 is 6. So you add exponents of like terms. 2 plus 4 is 6. Here we're multiplying again. 7 times negative 4, that's negative 28. Then you add the exponents of like terms. We have x3 and x1. There's a 1 there. It's 1x. So 3 plus 1. 3 plus 1 is 4. There's no y here, but we have y. So there's y to the 4 that's here. C, you're dividing. 9 goes into 45 5 times. Now when you divide like terms, you subtract. When you multiply, we add. When we divide, we subtract. So 4 minus 3 is 1. 8 minus 5 is 3. Now you're dividing again. 5 goes here 1 time. 5 goes into 15 3 times. You're dividing, you subtract exponents of like terms. So be very careful here. There's x4 and there's x5 here. This is y. So let's compare x and x. So we're looking at the like. These are the like terms. So it's 4 minus 5. 4 minus 5, which is negative 1. And this is 8 minus 3. 8 minus 3, which is 5. So this is your answer. Now you can also have your answer as in positive form for your exponent. If you have the positive form of your answer, it will be y5 over x1. So both these answers are acceptable. Now here we are squaring. So negative 7 squared will be negative 7 times negative 7, which is 49. Now when you're squaring, you're raising a power to an exponent. When you're raising a power to an exponent, we multiply the exponents. 4 times 2 is 8. So here we multiply, here we add, because you're multiplying here. Multiplying, so you add. Here we're raising a power to an exponent, you multiply. A to the 0. Any number raised to the 0 is 1. Any number with an exponent 0, or a letter with exponent 0, the answer will always be 1. So this is 4 times 1, which is 4, and that's 4b. 3 squared, this is negative 3 squared. We are only squaring the 3. So 3 squared is 3 times 3, which is 9. So your negative sign comes down. Remember, we are only squaring the 3. If we had a bracket here, and if we squared it with the bracket, then it will be a positive 9. Because it will be negative 3 times negative 3. In this case, it's only 3 times 3, which is 9, and your negative sign comes down. Now we're going to look at your terms, your sequences, right? We have 2, 6, and 10. Now here there's a constant difference of 4. 2 plus 4 will give you 6. 6 plus 4 will give you 10. So 10 plus 4 will give you 14. Here, the constant difference is a positive 3 or a plus 3. Negative 1 plus 3 is 2. 2 plus 3 is 5. So sometimes if it is difficult to work with negative, look at the difference here with the positive numbers. To get from 2 to 5 is positive 3. Then see if that works here. So that may help you if you're having problems with the negative number. And in this case, there is no difference here, no constant difference. But you'll notice here we have 1 squared. This is 2 squared. This is 3 squared to give you 9. So this will be 4 squared to give you 16. So we're squaring each term. in the sequence. Now you can also get patterns, geometric patterns. You have shapes that we're working with. First question is draw the next pattern. Now if you look at the pattern, there's 3 circles here. Now we have 6. We had another column of 3 circles. Then we have another column of 3 circles. So we have 3, 6, 9. So this will give you another column of 3 circles, which is now 12. So we have 3, 6, 9, 12. Now the rule that describes this, right? This is n is 1, your first term. Then n is 2, n is 3. So for each term, n is 1. 1 times 3 will give you 3. 2 times 3 is giving you 6. 3 times 3 is giving you 9. So it's n times 3 or 3n. So your term is 3 times the pattern. N is your pattern, pattern 1, pattern 2, pattern 3, pattern 4. So it's 3 times your pattern. So for your pattern, we call that n, your pattern position. N is 1, n is 2, n is 3, n is 4. So it's 3 times your pattern, which is 3 times n. The 30th term, n means n is 30. So it'll be 3 times 30, which is 90. Now looking at question 4, we're starting to study the table here. This is your n. N is your position. Position 1 of your pattern, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now for the first value at position 1 is 3. The next value is 5. The next value is 7. Now we need to see if there is a constant difference. So 3 plus what will give us 5? That's 2. 5 plus 2 will give us 7. 7 plus 2 will give us 9. 9 plus 2 will give you 11. So you get 11 as your answer. Now we need to work out 21. Sorry, we have 21. We need to work out the value here in the pattern. So if we're working with adding 2 each time, so we're adding 2, we've got 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. 11 plus 2 is 13, plus 2 is 15, plus 2 is 17, plus 2 is 19, plus 2 is 21. We reach 21. So what number in this sequence is it? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's the 10th number in the sequence. So one way to complete the table is by working out the entire sequence, the position and the sequence value. So the n value and the tn value. You can also use that using a rule. Now the rule we said is your constant difference, which is 2, your constant difference times your position plus what will give us our value. So if we look at when n is 1, constant difference is 2. So 2 times 1 is 2. Plus what will give us 3 plus 1. Let's see if it works here. 2 times your position is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 1 will give us 5. So that's how you decide on your rule. It's always your constant difference times your term plus what number will give us each value. Now, if you know that this is the rule, then you can use this method to work out 10, to work out the answer for this position, because it means we need the n value. So if 2n plus 1, that means the rule is equal to 21. Then how do you work out what n is? That means what number, 2 times what number plus 1 will give you 21. So it's 2 times 10. 2 times 10 plus 1 will give you 21. Or you can solve for it. If 2n plus 1 is equal to 21, then 2n is actually 21 minus 1. Because you have plus 1 here, we take it on the side, it's minus 1. So your 2n is 20. And you divide both sides by 2, n is 10. Or you can just think about it, 2 times what plus 1 will give you 21. It's 2 times 10. So therefore n is 10. So to solve n, you can write out this entire sequence till you get to 21 and work out what position of the sequence it is. or you can use the TN rule and solve for the n. What is n? What number times 2 plus 1 is going to give us 21. 4.2, it's about completing the flow diagram by substituting in here. If your input value, your x value is -2, what will your a value be? So it'll be 2 times -2 plus 1. And 2 times -2 is -4. -4 plus 3 is -1. The next one is -1. You substitute -1 in here. So to show you very quickly, if you're substituting -1, it will be 2 times -1 plus 3. And 2 times -1 is -2 plus 3. And the answer there will give you 1. So you get your answer for 1. So for each one, if it's 0, then you substitute 0 here. 2 times 0 plus 3. 2 times 0 is 0 plus 3 gives you 3. And you substitute 1. 2 times 1 is 2 plus 3 to give you 5. So you can do your substitution. In the same way we work this out, this is written as, this is y is equal to -3 times x plus y. It can also be written as y is equal to -3x plus 1. -3x plus 1. That's another way of writing that. So -1, if you substitute -1 here, or you can use your calculator as well. -3 times -1, which is +3, plus 1 is 4. 2 will be -3 times 2, which is -6, plus 1 is -5. And the last one, what number must x be to give you 10? So you can think about the numbers that x can be to give you 10. The answer is -3. Now we're saying that this equation here, -3 times x plus 1 is equal to 10. That means the answer is 10. So we need to find what is x. So you can solve your equation. If it's +1 here, to get it a +1, we have to subtract 1. So we subtract 1 here as well. So 10 minus 1 is 9. Now to get rid of the 3, because we need to find x, we need to get rid of -3. So we divide by -3, we divide by -3, which means x, your final answer, x is equal to -3. Okay, boys and girls. Another way of writing this equation may be easier is if we had -3x plus 1 is equal to 10. Then we're solving here. We need to get rid of the plus 1. So we have -3x is equal to get rid of plus 1, we have to subtract the 1 here. So we need to subtract the 1 here. Remember, it's an equation. So what you do on your left-hand side, you have to do on the right-hand side. So if I -1 here, I got a -1 here. So we have -3x is equal to 9. To find x, we need to get rid of -3, so we have to divide by -3. All right, we're going to divide by -3. So I'm going to write the division here for now. So we need to divide by -3 here, which means we also have to divide here by -3. And if you divide both sides by -3, you end up with x here. Because -3's will cancel. That is equal to -3. Because 9 divided by 3 is 3. And positive divided by negative is -3. So you can solve your equation to get your answer. Or you can decide what number times -3 plus 1 will give us y. And the answer will be negative 3. Boys and girls, watch this videos a couple of times. The work will be explained in class again. Thank you, boys and girls. Good luck in your test.